Welcome to this video on linear equation word problems, finding the slope, y-intercept, and equation of a line. Let's begin. Let's read this example together. It says, suppose you start a road trip with a full tank, 12 gallons, in your car. After driving 3 hours, you have 8 gallons left. Let x represent the number of hours you've been driving, and y represent the number of gallons you have left in the tank. At what rate is the gas left in the tank changing? State your answer as a reduced fraction. Then find the equation of the line in the form y equals mx plus b that describes the amount of gas in your tank. So we're being given a lot of information here, and we're being asked for some information. So one strategy you can always use in word problems is to circle, underline, or highlight important information. Okay, so one thing that I want to talk about, the first thing I want to talk about is the x variables and the y variable. Right? So remember our goal. What is our goal? Our goal is to get y equals mx plus b, right? Well, what is m? M is the slope, isn't it? Right? And they're actually asking us also for the slope in this problem. When they ask us the rate that the gas level is changing, right, that is our slope. So this is literally asking me for the slope. What is m? What is the slope? Okay? The other thing it asks me for is, of course, the whole equation. So to give the whole equation, I need two pieces of information. One thing I need is the slope. The other thing I need is the y-intercept. So the problem with this particular example is, unlike previous word problems, one of the numbers that was given was the slope, and one of the other numbers that was given, there was only two numbers. One was the slope, one was the y-intercept. But as you can see, we're given at least three numbers here, right? We're told that we start with 12 gallons, right? And then we're told that after 3 hours, we have 8 gallons left. That's a lot of information. So what can we do with this information? How can we organize it? Well, one way we can do it is to create a table of values. So remember, x is the number of hours we have been driving. Okay? Then remember, y is the amount in gallons of gas that we have in the tank. Okay? So I'm going to make a table for us that's going to organize all of this information. Okay? So let's look at the very beginning. It says we start a road trip. So if I start a road trip, how much time has passed? Well, at the very beginning, no time has passed, so we'll call that 0 hours. So at the very beginning, how many gallons do I have? Well, I have 12 gallons. So again, after 0 hours have passed, I have 12 gallons of gas. Okay? Then, after 3 hours have passed, I have 8 gallons left. Does this make you think of anything? Does this remind you of anything? Well, hopefully it makes you start thinking about that slope formula. Remember, our slope formula is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, right? So what we can do here is we can call 0, well, we can call this x1, right? And 12 can be y1, 3 can be x2, and 8 can be y2. Okay? If you want to switch the 1s and the 2s, that's fine. It doesn't matter. So let's plug in these numbers and let's see what we can get for our slope. Well, y2 is 8, so we put 8 here. y1 is 12, so we put 12 here. So on top we have 8 minus 12. Then we have x2. Well, x2 is 3 hours. And then we have x1, which is 0 hours. So let's go ahead and do this math. 8 minus 12 is equal to -4. 3 minus 0 is 3. Anytime I get a fraction, I always have to ask myself the question, can I reduce it? Because if I can reduce it, then I need to. So this is my slope. Notice that it is negative. That makes sense because why? Because the amount of gas in my tank, the more I drive, is going to decrease. Right? If you find a car that the more you drive it, the more gas that you have in your tank, please sell it to me. I would like to buy it from you. That would be wonderful. I'd never have to buy gas again. Right? So again, it makes sense that our slope is decreasing. So let's see what they want. It says, at what rate is the gas left in the tank changing? Okay, so changing doesn't mean increasing or decreasing. It just means changing, right? So the rate, we want it as a reduced fraction. So we're not going to type it into our calculator and get a decimal approximation. We're just going to type it in as -4/3, or write it out as -4/3, depending on if you're using a computer. I stole this from MyOpenMath, so this is just like the MyOpenMath problem. If you're doing a written homework assignment, then you would just write -4/3. Okay. So we have the slope, right? What other piece of information do we need in order to build our entire equation? Well, let's see. So again, we start with y equals mx plus b. Well, what did we just find? We just found m, didn't we? So we can write, instead of m, we can write -4/3 right there. So we have -4/3 x plus something. So now we have to find the y-intercept. So let's remember what we know about the y-intercept. A y-intercept, by definition, is the point where the line crosses the y-axis, right? And it has 0 as x and then something as y. Do either of the ordered pairs that we have in our table fit this description? They absolutely do, don't they? Right? 0 hours, 12 gallons, that is our y-intercept. Right? This is not my y-intercept, and I know that because x is not 0. Where x is equal to 0 is where your y-intercept is. So that means that I know that my y-intercept is equal to 12. Again, that is the amount that we started with. So the way to think about this problem is they do give you half of the information that we need, right? They give you the y-intercept, but they make you work for the slope. They make you set up a table of values and use this equation to do a little extra work to find this slope. So last but not least, we can write our equation, y equals -4/3 x plus 12. Okay, and so that is what I would write for this part of the question right there, where it says find the equation of the line.